In the 1930s, Australia was no stranger to challenges. But one event stands out in history, a bizarre chapter in the nation's agricultural past: the Emu War. This is the story of how the Australian government waged war on emus. Yes, emus. Let's dive into this strange yet fascinating conflict. What is an emu? The emu is the second largest living bird in the world, after the ostrich. Standing up to 6.2 feet tall, emus have long, muscular legs and a robust, cylindrical body covered in soft, brown feathers. Their large, flightless form is built for running, not flying. These birds are incredibly fast, capable of reaching speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, fast enough to outrun most predators. I even once heard an emu could sell car insurance, but could never verify. With the crop devastation growing, the Australian government decided to intervene. In late 1932, they sent soldiers led by Major G.P.W. Meredith, armed with Lewis machine guns and a team of men, to take down the emus. The plan? Clear the area of these destructive birds. The 1,000 soldiers were primarily from the Royal Australian Artillery. However, only a small number of soldiers actually participated in the active hunts, and they were equipped with the best gun technology at the time, but just 2 of the Lewis machine gun, and some rifles. Developed by U.S. Army Colonel Isaac Newton Lewis in 1911, the gun featured a large shrouded .30 caliber barrel with aluminum fins and a forced air cooling system. The top of the gun featured a 47-round Pan magazine. Another version of the gun, modified for firing from a World War I biplane, featured a 97-round magazine. Unable to persuade the U.S. military to produce the gun, Mr. Lewis worked with the British and Belgians, and produced several thousands for use in trench warfare as well as in the Air Force. Australia also used some of the machine guns when it entered the war in 1915. Despite its power, the Lewis gun faced several problems during the Emu War. For one, it was intended for use in trench warfare, not open fields. It was also difficult to aim at the fast-moving, unpredictable emus. The bird's ability to dodge and scatter made it nearly impossible to hit them consistently. And with only 2 machine guns and a handful of soldiers, it was a battle of attrition that wasn't going to be won easily. In the first encounter near Campion, the soldiers only managed to kill about 50 emus despite firing thousands of rounds. The emus scattered quickly, and many of the birds went unscathed. The emu population in Western Australia was estimated to be 20,000 strong, and despite the government's efforts, the numbers kept rising. The battle would go on for months with limited success, and not a single emu returning fire. In addition to the military efforts, there were other attempts to protect crops. One major project was the construction of the emu-proof fence, a barrier stretching across hundreds of miles of farmland with limited effectiveness. Today, emu populations are carefully managed to prevent the kinds of crop damage that sparked the Emu War. Modern-day population control methods include culling, fencing, and habitat management. In certain regions, emu numbers are controlled through regulated culling programs, which help balance the bird's population with the needs of farmers and conservationists. While emus are protected by law in many areas, farmers are allowed to implement controlled culling if the birds pose a significant threat to crops. The Emu War might have been an embarrassing chapter in Australian history, but it sparked an important conversation about how humans interact with the wildlife that shares the land. The fence, the military action, and the eventual lessons learned paved the way for more sustainable farming practices and a more thoughtful approach to managing emu populations. So, the Emu War ended in 1932, the year it began. But its legacy lives on in the way Australia handles its relationship with these incredible birds. Thanks for taking this journey with us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about history's most unusual events.